The rain hammered the windshield like fists of regret as I pulled into the driveway of the old brownstone in Brooklyn, my headlights cutting through the storm to reveal Wyatt's silhouette on the porch, waving me in like a lifeline. "Get your ass inside before you drown, Alex!" he shouted over the thunder, but his voice cracked just enough to betray the fear he'd been hiding all week, the kind that comes from a family unraveling at the seams. I killed the engine, grabbed my duffel, and bolted up the steps, only to freeze when the door swung wider, revealing not just Wyatt, but his father, Scott, standing there in a soaked flannel shirt that clung to his broad chest, his eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that felt like a secret being whispered in the downpour. I slammed the door behind me, shaking water from my hair like a dog, but the chill that settled in my bones had nothing to do with the November storm raging outside. Wyatt clapped me on the back, his grin forced but familiar, the kind we'd shared since we were kids dodging dodgeballs in Prospect Park. "Dude, you look like a drowned rat. Come on, Dad's got coffee brewing, black as your soul." He laughed, but it died quick, swallowed by the echoey foyer of the house that had always felt like a second home, even after his mom bailed 5 years back, leaving behind ghosts and half-empty picture frames. Scott lingered by the coat rack, towel in hand, his presence filling the space like he owned more than just the mortgage. The man was a force, a high school football coach turned construction foreman, all rough edges and quiet storms. At 45, he still turned heads at the neighborhood barbecues, the kind of dad who could fix a carburetor blindfolded and quote Springsteen lyrics like scripture. He tossed me the towel without a word, but his gaze held mine a beat too long, something flickering there that I chalked up to the low light and my own exhaustion. "Thanks, Mr. Harlan," I muttered, rubbing my face dry. "Appreciate the pit stop. Call me Scott," he said, voice gravelly from years of barking orders on job sites. "And it's no trouble. Wyatt says you've been pulling doubles at that diner. Need a real bed for once." He turned toward the kitchen, shoulders rolling under the damp fabric, and I followed, trying not to notice how the air shifted when he moved, like the room was recalibrating around him. Wyatt flopped onto the living room couch, cracking open a beer from the mini fridge hidden in the credenza. Ignore the old man. He's been on a hospitality kick since Mom's latest bullshit email. Like, who needs a custody battle at 38? He rolled his eyes, but his fingers tightened around the can, denting the aluminum. Wyatt was 22, same as me, but tonight he looked younger, frayed at the edges from the divorce drama that had him crashing on friends' couches more than his own. "That's why I'd driven from Queens at midnight," his frantic text. "Can't be alone tonight. Please." I sank beside him, accepting the beer he shoved my way. "She's not getting the house, man. Scott's got the lawyer on speed dial." The words felt hollow, but they were all I had. Growing up, Wyatt and I had been inseparable. Bike rides along the Gowanus Canal, sneaking smokes behind the bodega, dreaming of escaping this borough for something bigger, like LA screenwriting gigs or Manhattan lofts. But dreams had a way of curdling here in Brooklyn, where the bridges loomed like reminders of what you couldn't cross. Scott emerged from the kitchen with 3 mugs, steam curling up like unanswered questions. He handed one to each of us, his calloused fingers brushing mine in the exchange. Accidental, sure, but the warmth lingered, sparking a flush I blamed on the caffeine. "Talk to the firm today," he said, settling into the armchair across from us, legs spread wide like he was claiming territory. "They're filing countersuit Monday. But enough of that crap. Alex, how's the writing?" Wyatt says you're slinging scripts to agents now. I sipped the coffee, strong, bitter, just how he remembered I liked it from that one summer barbecue years ago. Rejections mostly, but got a short film greenlit for Sundance Shorts next year. Low budget, but it's mine. Pride swelled in my chest. The first real win in months of grease shifts and ramen nights. Wyatt hooped, punching my arm. That's my boy. Knew you'd make it. Unlike me, still hawking craft beers at that hipster bar in Williamsburg. Self-deprecation was his armor, but tonight it cracked when Scott leaned forward, elbows on knees, his eyes hazel, flecked with gold, fixed on me with an approval that felt heavier than it should. You're going places, kid. I see it. Scott's voice dropped low, almost intimate, and Wyatt didn't notice, too busy scrolling his phone for a playlist. But I did. The way Scott's jaw tightened, like he was holding back a tide. The room hummed with classic rock, Born to Run, fittingly, and for a moment, I wondered if he was talking about more than scripts. The night blurred into confessions over empties. Wyatt spilled about the latest blow-up, his mom's new boyfriend, some Wall Street prick twice her age, pushing for asset splits that would gut the house. She doesn't even want it, Alex. Just wants to bleed us dry. Tears welled, unbidden, and he swiped them away with a curse. Scott stayed silent, nursing his mug, but when Wyatt stumbled to bed around 2, mumbling thanks, his dad didn't follow. Stay up, Scott asked, not moving from the chair. The rain had eased to a patter, the city lights smearing gold across the bay window. I nodded, too wired to crash. Yeah. Mind if I? He waved it off, grabbing a bottle of bourbon from the sideboard. 2 glasses poured neat. We really talked for the first time in years. Not the surface stuff, but the underbelly. How coaching had been his escape after the army. How the divorce was carving him hollow. Wyatt's tougher than he looks, he said at one point, staring into his glass. But losing her is like losing half of him. Of us. I mirrored him, legs stretched out, our boots inches apart on the rug. You're doing right by him. Showing up. That's more than my old man ever did. Dad had split when I was 10, leaving Mom to juggle nursing shifts and my theater kid phase. Coming out at 16 hadn't helped. He sent postcards from Reno, signed love, Dad in chicken scratch. Scott's laugh was bitter. Showing up. Yeah, that's the bar now. He topped off my glass, his arm grazing my knee. Deliberate? No, couldn't be. But the air thickened, charged like the storm outside. You know, Alex, you've always been good for him. Steady. The kind of friend who sticks. Our eyes met, and there it was again, that flicker. Not fatherly. Hungry. My pulse kicked up, a traitorous heat pooling low. I was gay. Yeah, out since high school. Dated a string of baristas and barflies, but Scott? He was straight arrow Americana. The guy who taught Wyatt to throw a spiral and grill ribs to perfection. Yet here he was, leaning in just a fraction, bourbon on his breath mingling with mine. You sticking around tomorrow? He asked, voice rough. Wouldn't miss it. The words hung, loaded. He stood abruptly, collecting glasses. Get some sleep. Guest room's yours. But as he passed, his hand landed on my shoulder. Firm, lingering, and I swear, his thumb traced the line of my collarbone before he pulled away. Shocked, I sat there, silent, the imprint burning through my shirt as his footsteps faded up the stairs. Sleep didn't come easy. The guest room smelled of fresh linen and faint aftershave, Scots, probably, and every creak of the house echoed like a heartbeat. Wyatt snored through the wall, oblivious, while I replayed that touch, that look. By dawn, the sky had cleared to a brittle blue, but inside me, the storm raged on. Wyatt was all energy over breakfast, pancakes stacked high, courtesy of his dad, chattering about a bar shift later, oblivious to the undercurrent. Scott moved through the kitchen like nothing had shifted, flipping bacon with practiced ease. But his glances my way were quicksilver, gone before I could pin them down. "Plans today?" he asked, plating food. "Thought I'd hit the bridge. Clear my head," I said, meaning the Brooklyn Bridge walk, my ritual for writer's block. Wyatt groaned. "Nerd. I'm crashing a poetry slam in the East Village tonight." "You in?" Tempting, but my eyes flicked to Scott, who was watching us both, a shadow crossing his face. After Wyatt bolted for work, the house settled into quiet. I lingered at the sink, rinsing plates, when Scott appeared behind me, close enough that his heat radiated through the space. "Need a hand?" His voice was low, casual, but his body wasn't brushing mine as he reached for a sponge. I froze, suds dripping from my fingers. "I got it." He didn't back off. Instead, his hip pressed against the counter beside me, trapping me in the narrow galley. "Wyatt's lucky to have you, Alex. More than you know." The words were soft, laced with something unspoken, and when I turned, his face was inches away, stubble-shadowed, eyes dark with intent. My breath hitched. "Scott." He cupped my jaw then, thumb rough against my skin, and kissed me. Not tentative, not testing a full claim, lips firm and tasting of coffee and want. Shock bolted through me, electric, and for 3 heartbeats, kissed back, hands fisting his shirt, the world narrowing to the scrape of his teeth, the groan low in his throat. Then reality crashed in Wyatt's face, the betrayal, the wrongness, and I shoved him away, gasping. "What the fuck?" The words exploded, my back hitting the fridge. Scott's chest heaved, regret flooding his features. "Alex." "Shit. I'm sorry. I didn't mean." He raked a hand through his hair, stepping back, the distance a chasm. "You're his dad." Came out strangled, accusation and confusion tangled. "I know." He looked wrecked, older in the harsh morning light. "It's been lonely. And you're right there, all fire and heart. But that was wrong. Forget it." Couldn't. Silent, I grabbed my keys, storming out to the truck, the kiss branding me like a fever. The bridge walk was a blur, pedestrians jostling, the East River churning below, but no clarity came. Only questions. Was it the bourbon, the divorce, or something deeper, buried in those hazel eyes? By evening, guilt gnawed me raw. Wyatt's poetry slam was a dive bar haze of spoken word fire and cheap gin, his set about fractured families drawing snaps and hugs. I clapped loudest, but my mind wandered to the brownstone, to Scott's apology waiting like a landmine. We stumbled home late, Wyatt buzzed and buoyant. "You're the best wingman, bro." He hugged me sloppy at the door, then vanished upstairs. Scott was in the den, nursing a book Kerouac, fittingly, light pooling soft around him. He looked up, expression guarded. "Good night." "Yeah." I hovered, words failing. He set the book down. "About this morning, Don't. But I stepped closer, drawn like a moth. Why me? His laugh was hollow. Hell if I know. Maybe 'cause you're real. Not like the ghosts in this house. He stood, closing the gap, but this time his hands stayed at his sides. Go to bed, Alex. Before I do something stupider. I did, but sleep was a battlefield. Dreams twisted. Wyatt's laugh morphing to accusation. Scott's touch a siren's call. Dawn brought resolve, or so I thought. Wyatt had an early shift. I found Scott in the garage, tinkering with his truck, grease-streaked and focused. Need help, I offered, voice steady. He glanced up, wiping his brow. Sure. Hand me that wrench. We worked in companionable silence at first, the radio crooning Tom Petty. But tension simmered, building with every brush of knuckles, every shared glance. Last night, he said finally, under the hood, Wyatt read something about you once. Said you were the brother he never had. Guilt twisted sharper. He's family. Scott straightened, facing me. And you? What are you to me? The question hung. Bro. I could lie, walk away. Instead, I surged forward, kissing him fierce against the workbench, claiming back what he'd started. He responded in kind, hands roaming urgent, pulling me flush. Tools clattered forgotten as we devoured each other, the garage a cocoon of heat and haste. His shirt came off first, revealing ink, a faded eagle across his pec. Army days, and I traced it with lips and teeth, drawing a hiss from him. God, Alex, he murmured, fingers in my hair, guiding. We didn't go further. Not there, not then, but the line was crossed, irrevocable. Guilt hit like whiplash the next morning, souring the coffee Scott pressed into my hand before Wyatt even stirred. We moved like conspirators, stolen touches under the table, eyes locking over cereal bowls, while Wyatt rambled about a bar fight he'd witnessed, oblivious to the electric undercurrent. You two are quiet. Hangover Central, he smirked, stealing my bacon. Something like that, I mumbled, Scott's foot nudging mine under the table, a secret Morse code. He drove us to the site that day, Scott's construction gig in Red Hook, insisting I tag along for moral support. Wyatt begged off for a nap, leaving us alone in the cab of his F-150, the harbor glinting industrial under a weak sun. This is crazy, I said, staring at the Hudson's gray sprawl. We can't. I know. His grip tightened on the wheel, knuckles white. But tell me to stop, and I will. Right now. I didn't. Instead, my hand found his thigh, the denim warm under my palm, and his exhale was a surrender. The site was a skeleton of steel beams for a new warehouse, workers hollering in hard hats. Scott barked orders. All business. Tighten that rebar. Ramirez. But twice he pulled me into the trailer for blueprint reviews, the door clicking shut behind us. The first time, it was just a kiss, deep and desperate, his back to the desk as I pressed in. Missed this already? He growled, hands framing my face. By the second, clothes rumpled, his mouth on my neck, marking territory. Fuck, you taste like trouble. We stopped short of more. Lunch whistle blew, but the promise hung heavy, a drug we both craved. Wyatt texted mid-afternoon. Bar crawl tonight? Bring your A-game. Innocence in pixels, slicing me open. How could I laugh with him over IPAs at the local while replaying Scott's hands on me? But I did, because faking it was survival. The three of us piled into a booth at McSorley's. Sawdust floors and ale flights, Wyatt toasting to absent moms and present brothers. Scott joined late, fresh from the sight, his presence drawing eyes. Mine included, traitorously. "Coach!" the bartender called, sliding him a pint. "Heard you're benching for the Jet Scout next week." Scott waved it off. Modest. Just kids with dreams. But under the table, his knee pressed mine. Deliberate. Wyatt, 3 sheets in, launched into a rant about his ex. Some ghost from college who'd ghosted him after coming out. "Fucking cowards everywhere," he slurred, and I nodded, throat tight, hypocrite that I was. Scott's hand found my back later, casual pat to the uninitiated, but his fingers splayed possessive. "You okay?" he murmured, breath hot on my ear. "Fine," I lied, pulling away. The bar's haze closed in, laughter mocking us. Home was a minefield. Wyatt crashed early, stomach protesting the ale. I showered long, steam clouding the mirror, trying to wash away the duplicity. But Scott knocked soft, slipping in with a towel and that look. Ravenous. "Can't stop thinking," he said, voice husky, dropping the towel to reveal boxers slung low. "Wyatt's next door. Protest week. Even to me. He sleeps like the dead." Scott crowded me against the tile, water sheeting over us as he kissed down my chest, knees hitting the floor. His mouth, God, skilled, reverent, took me apart with lips and tongue, slow drags that had me biting my fist to stifle moans. I came undone fast, shuddering, his name a whisper on the spray. He rose, kissing me deep, sharing the taste, intimate, undoing. "Your turn," I breathed, but he shook his head. I soft. "Not here. Not like this." He held me after, water cooling, the vulnerability cracking his armor. "This scares me, Alex." "What it means." "Me too." We dried off, snuck to his room, Wyatt's snores a distant lullaby, and tangled under sheets, exploratory hands and lazy kisses stretching into dawn. He talked then, barriers down, the army loneliness, the straight facade for Wyatt's sake, the ache after his wife left for someone freer. "Didn't know I wanted this, you, until you walked in that door." I traced his tattoos, heart pounding. "I'm not free either." "Wyatt, we'll figure it." Promise fragile, but his arms around me felt like anchor. Days blurred into stolen weeks. By Thanksgiving, the house thrummed with normalcy. Turkey brining, Wyatt stringing lights on the stoop, while Scott and I navigated the tightrope. Morning runs along the promenade, his pace matching mine, hands brushing on accident. Late nights in the basement workshop, where tools gathered dust and we didn't. He was patient, generous, teaching me the map of his body with whispers and touches, drawing out my secrets in turn. I wrote feverishly, scripts pouring out infused with this forbidden fire, emailing queries that finally bit, an agent nibble on my short. "You're glowing," Wyatt said one night, clinking bottles on the fire escape. "That girl from the diner?" I choked on my beer. "Nah, just life." He eyed me shrewd. "Spill, man. You've been weird, distracted, but happy weird, guilt-clawed. Promise it's nothing bad." His laugh was easy. "With you, always drama." He leaned back, stars pricking the smoggy sky. "Hey, thanks for sticking. Dad's been lighter lately. Your vibe, I think. If only he knew." Scott watched from the kitchen window, silhouette strong, and I wondered how long before the fall. Cracked on a Friday, snow dusting the sidewalks like powdered regret. Wyatt had a double shift. Scott called me to the site early, forgot my lunchbox, code for trailer tryst. We were reckless that time, him bending me over the desk, thrusts deep and claiming, my nails scoring his back as we chased release in hushed gasps. Love this, he panted, buried in me. Love you, the words detonated, joy and terror exploding. I twisted, kissing him sloppy. Yeah, but the door rattled, keys jingling. Dad? You hear? Wyatt's voice. Close. Panic seized. Scott yanked up, shoving me behind the filing cabinet as the knob turned. I held breath, heart thundering, while he zipped frantic, smoothing hair. In here, son. What's up? Wyatt poked head in, snowflakes melting on his beanie. Shift got cut. Thought we'd grab pizza. Alex too, wait. He coming later. Casual. But his eyes scanned, narrowing on the disarray. Papers ask you. Scott's flush. Yeah. He said he'd meet us. Scott's voice steady. Oscar-worthy. Wyatt shrugged, but suspicion lingered. Cool. See you at home. Door clicked shut, truck rumbling away. We exhaled, collapsing against each other, laughter hysterical, edged with hysteria. Close, I gasped. Too close. His kiss was fierce, sealing the pact. But the seed was planted. That night, pizza boxes open on the coffee table. Wyatt grilled me subtle. You been around more. Dad cool with it? Always has been. Lie tasted ash. He nodded, but his fork paused. Just noticed him watching you. Like, intense. My stomach dropped. Jealous. Wyatt snorted. Nah. But he's been off since Mom. If you're, I dunno, talking him through shit, cool. Just don't let him drag you down. I won't. Vow to the wrong Harlan. Snow fell thicker, blanketing the city in hush. Scott and I snuck moments. A hand on my nape in the hall, a midnight drive to Coney Island, boardwalk empty under sodium lights. There, against the rusted railing, he dropped to one knee, not proposal, but vulnerability. Pulling a chain from his pocket, dog tags glinting. Wore these in the sand. Never gave M to her. Want you to have. Emotion choked me. Scott, wear it under your shirt. Our secret. I did. Metal cool against skin. A talisman. But secrets fester. December brought the scout game, Wyatt's chance at semi-pro. Scott coaching sidelines. I sat bleachers, cheering with locals, pride swelling as Wyatt sacked the QB. Crowd roaring. Post-game, beers at the field house, Wyatt glowing, arms slung mine. To the dream team, he toasted, but his eyes darted to Scott, laughing with players. Later, in the lot, snow swirling, Wyatt cornered me by my truck. Saw you too. After the game touching. What's going on? Alex, denial died on my tongue. Wyatt, it's, don't, hurt flashed. Bro. My best friend and my dad? How long? Weeks. Truth cracked out. It just happened. He reeled, face paling. Get out. Just go. I drove blind, tears freezing on cheeks. Straight to Scott's sight dark, but his truck there, overtime light on. He pulled me inside, holding tight as sobs racked me. He knows. Fuck. Scott's arms steel bands. We'll fix it. But dawn brought silence, no texts from Wyatt. House dark when I swung by. Scott met me on the porch. Defeated. Packed a bag. Staying with his aunt in Jersey till he cools. Guilt tsunami. This is my fault. Ours. He kissed my forehead. Tender. But I don't regret you. Christmas loomed. City aglow with betrayal. Wyatt's radio silence stretched days. Then a curt email. Need space. Don't call. Scott and I clung tighter. Lovemaking a refuge. Slow. Worshipful in the empty house. His body a map I memorized. We'll tell him together, he murmured post-climax, fingers tracing my spine. But fate punched harder. New Year's Eve. Wyatt showed, unannounced. Ice hollow. Duffel slung. Talk. We sat kitchen table. Scott and I across. Air thick. Wyatt's voice steady. Shattered. Love you both. But this, it breaks everything. Tears tracked his cheeks. Chose me or him. Alex. Can't have both. The ultimatum gutted. Scott's hand found mine under table. Squeezed desperate. Son. It's not. Shut up. Dad. You took him. Wyatt stood. Chair scraping. Happy fucking New Year. Door slammed. Tires squealed. Silence deafened. Scott's head dropping to hands. What have we done? I held him, but the fracture ran deep. Family splintered on our altar. January clawed in with a vengeance. Winds howling off the Atlantic like accusations, stripping the brownstone bare. Wyatt's absence echoed in empty rooms. His sneakers gone from the hall. The fridge stocked only with Scott's energy drinks and my takeout remnants. We tried normalcy. Movie nights on the couch. His arm heavy around me. But the laughter rang false. Undercut by the ghost at the table. I text Wyatt daily. Miss you, man. Coffee soon? Met with voids that widen the chasm. Scott threw himself into work. Dawn patrols to sites in the Bronx. Coming home bone-tired. Grease under nails. He'll come around, he'd say, pulling me to bed. But his kisses turned frantic. A man outrunning demons. I'd wake to him staring at the ceiling. Dog tags glinting on my chest like a brand of our sin. What if he doesn't? He'd whisper once, voice cracking. He will, but necessary. My script stalled. Rejections piling like snowdrifts. Voice too raw. Tighten the arc. Irony bit. My life was the messiest plot. Mid-month. A thaw Wyatt's email. Terse. Aunt's place sucks. Can I grab clothes? Alone. Scott nodded grim. Keys tossed my way. Go. I'll wait. The Jersey Drive was hell. Turnpike slush. Radio droning heartbreak anthems. Auntie's split level screamed suburbia. Gnomes in the yard. Minivan in the drive. Wyatt answered door in sweats. Unshaven. But his hug crushed. Fierce. Forgiving. Clothes. Echoed. Stepping in. He led to his temp room. Duffel out. Yeah. And talk. We sat bed edge. Awkward as teens. Hate this. Alex. You and him, it's wrong. Not wrong, I countered soft. Just complicated. He snorted. Complicated? You're fucking my dad. Heat flushed. Love him. Wyatt. Didn't plan it. Silence stretched. His fingers twisting sheet. Love? Jesus. Hurt fresh. But softer. Saw it in your eyes that night. Glowing. Like he hung the moon. He kinda does. Vulnerable, I added. But you're my brother. Always. He exhaled, shoulders slumping. Miss that. Us. Pause. Aunties pushing therapy, family shit. Maybe. We try. Hope flickered. Yeah. But him? Slow. I can't see it yet. He packed quick jeans, hoodies, then gripped my shoulder at door. Don't hurt him, Alex. He's more breakable than he looks. Never. Promise sealed with a fist bump. Relic of boyhood. Back in Brooklyn. Scott paced kitchen. Bourbon half gone. What did he say? I relayed. His relief palpable. Arms crushing me to the counter. Kiss bruising. Thank you. That night, we made love deliberate. Reclaiming him inside me slow. Eyes locked. Whispers of forever amid gasps. You're my home, he breathed. Climax shared like sacrament. February brought fragile bridges. Wyatt returned weekends, tiptoeing around Scott. Nods in halls, shared silences over dinner I cooked. Neutral ground. I'd mediate, steering talk to Jet's tryouts. Wyatt's bar promotions. My agent callback. Full script request, bring it. Elation bubbled, but tempered. One wrong word, and the ice cracked. Valentine's fell midweek. City pulsing red. Scott ambushed me post-shift. Diner grease still on my apron, with a rooftop picnic. Blankets, skyline view, takeout from our first date spot. Snow-dusted railings, but heaters hummed. Champagne fizzing. For us, he said, toasting, chain around my neck catching light. We ate cross-legged, knees touching, sharing stories, his first crush, a farm boy in high school. Unspoken. My prom night fake date turned real kiss in the limo. Laughter flowed easy, then faded to intent. His hand on my thigh, sliding up. Want you here, under stars. Daring. We did clothes shed layer by layer. His body covering mine on the blanket. Thrusts rhythmic with the distant honks. Manhattan glittered below. Indifferent witness. As he took me apart. Fingers interlaced. His name a chant on wind. Release shattered us. Tangled and spent. His forehead to mine. Marry me, Alex. Someday. Tears pricked. Someday. But dawn brought reality. Wyatt's truck in the drive. Early coffee run. We scrambled. Decent by doorbell, innocent. If flushed. He eyed us suspicious over mugs. Late night. Rough script deadline. I covered. Scott's foot hooking mine under table, accomplice. Wyatt hummed. Unconvinced. But let it slide. Progress. Fragile. Spring teased early. Crocuses pushing through brownstone planters. Wyatt's thaw accelerated. Game nights with cards and craft brews. His jabs at Scott lighter. Still benching those rookies. Old man. Scott's replies gruff. But eyes shone gratitude my way. My script sold indie buzz. Sundance panel invite. Celebration at the bar. Wyatt toasting loud. To Alex. Brooklyn's breakout. Scott's pride burned hot. His hand low on my back in the crowd. Public now. Almost. Whispers started. Who's the guy with Harlan? But Wyatt's arms slung both our shoulders. Claiming us. And for a night. Felt whole. Then betrayal struck. Swift as a sucker punch. Mid-April. Scott's phone buzzed during dinner. Unknown number. He silenced it. But Wyatt, ever observant, clocked the flinch. Work? He asked. Casual. Yeah. Foreman crap. Dismissive. But later, in bed, Scott confessed, ex's lawyer. Pushing settlement, house on the line. Shit. I held him tight. We'll fight. But the calls escalated. Scott stepping out for private talks, voice low in the yard. Wyatt noticed, tension coiling. One night, post-shift, I found him in the den, scrolling Scott's discarded phone. Unlocked. Fatal. His face when I entered. Ashen. Betrayed. It's her. Mom. Not just divorce affair. Years ago. With his best friend. The words landed like shrapnel. Wyatt. He knew. Accusation wild. And now you? History repeats. No. Panic rose. Scott's clean. It's us. Save it. He hurled the phone. Screen cracking on floor. You're poison. Alex. Both of you. Stormed out. Door slamming echo of New Year's. I chased. But tires screeched away. Destination unknown. Scott came home late, reeking of sight dust and despair. What happened? I broke. Sobs wrenching, Wyatt's discovery. The venom. He paled, sinking to chair. God. The affair. I buried it for him. To keep the family. Too late. Silence suffocated. Our love tainted by old sins unearthed. Days bled into search. Wyatt's bar said quit yesterday. Anti-unreachable. Police non-starter. Adult. No crime. Scott barely slept. Pacing nights. Bourbon his crutch. My fault, he'd mutter. Head in hands. Push too hard. Too soon. I'd curl against him, whispering assurances. But fear gnawed. Had we broken irreparable? Break came week 3. Anonymous tip. Wyatt at a hostel in the village. Crashing with poets. We drove frantic. Scott white-knuckled on wheel. The place was a walk-up flophouse. Graffiti walls. Incense thick. Wyatt answered door. Gaunt. Cheeks hollow. Eyes red-rimmed. Go away. Weak. But he cracked door wider. Heard about Mom. Everything. Scott stepped forward. Voice raw. Son. Let me. No. Wyatt's gaze flicked me. Venom-laced pity. You chose him over me. Twice. Not true. Scott's plea broke. I chose love. Both times. But you're my blood. Wyatt laughed. Hollow. Love? This twisted shit? Ruined us. I interjected soft. We can fix. Therapy. Like you said. He eyed me long. Weighing. Maybe. But not together. Not yet. Door shut gentle. Final. Drive home was funeral procession. City lights mocking. Scott pulled over midway. Shoulders shaking. Silent tears. First I'd seen. Lost him. Alex. For you. Hate surged at fate. At myself. Blame me. I started it. He turned. Eyes fierce through wet. Never. You're the best damn thing. Kiss salty. Desperate. Reaffirming in the cab's confines. May bloomed indifferent. Cherry blossoms mocking our wilt. Wyatt trickled back. Texts first. Alive. Don't worry. Then calls. Stilted. Need rent money. Dad. Scott wired without question. Voice thick. My film wrapped principle, low-budget chaos in Bushwick lots, but joy muted. Premiere loomed summer. Invite extended to both. But Wyatt's may be hung tentative. Climax brewed Father's Day weekend. Heat wave sticky. Scott planned a cookout neutral ground. Ribs slow smoking. Invite to Wyatt via text. Come home. Please. Response. On my way. Lawn chairs unfolded. Neighbors drifting over with casseroles, community glue. I manned grill beside Scott, sweat beading, his hip bump conspiratorial. Nervous, terrified, but his hand squeezed mine quick. Hidden. Wyatt arrived late, leaner, wary, beer in hand, nod to us. Smells good. Small talk flowed awkward. Weather, Jets odds. Then, as dusk fell, fireflies winking, he set bottle down. Therapy starts Tuesday. Solo first. Then, family, relief crashed. Scott's exhale whoosh. Yeah. Whatever it takes. Wyatt's eyes met mine. Softer. You too, Alex. If you want in. Try stopping me. Grin tentative. Returned. That night, house full again, Wyatt crashing couch. Snoring familiar, we retreated to Scott's room. Lovemaking hushed. Grateful. His body over mine. Slow rock. Whispers of I love you sealing wounds. But betrayal's shadow lingered. June's heat peaked with a call. Scott's ex. Voice syrup on speaker. Tell Wyatt hi. And that I'm sorry for everything. Click. Scott's face ashen. She knows about us? From the lawyer grapevine. Chill. Wyatt overheard. Bursting in. What the mom? Now. Confrontation erupted. Yells echoing. Old wounds ripped. You lied. Wyatt roared at Scott. About her. About this. I protected you. Scott bellowed back. Veins bulging. I mediated futile. Voice lost in storm. Wyatt grabbed keys. Fuck protection. I'm out for good. Squeal of tires. Final this time. Police later. Crash on the BQE. Wyatt's truck totaled. Him airlifted, broken ribs. Concussion. But alive. Hospital vigil. Scott pacing ER tiles. Me holding his hand in the waiting room shadows. If he dies. He won't. But fear clawed. Wyatt woke groggy. Monitors beeping. First words. Rasped. Dad. Scott collapsed bedside. Gripping hand. Here. Son. Wyatt's gaze found me. Tears tracking. You both. Stay. We did trio forged in fire. Monitors symphony to our vigil. Summer simmered into recovery's haze. Brooklyn's humidity mirroring the sweat of healing. Wyatt's hospital room became our bunker. Fluorescent buzz. Jello cups uneaten. Scott dozing in the vinyl chair. His hand never leaving his son's. I'd fetch coffees from the vending machine, black for Scott, latte for Wyatt, now mediating silences with small talk about the film wrap, the nurse with the Mets tattoo. She's got stories, I'd say, drawing weak chuckles, bridges over the abyss. Wyatt mended slow, ribs taped, headaches lingering, but the crash cracked more than fiberglass. His armor splintered, vulnerability seeping. Third day. Morphine fogged. He pulled me close. Scared me. Choosing sides. Thought I'd lose you both. You didn't. I squeezed his four-dotted hand. We're stuck. His grin ghosted. Good. 'Cause Dad's a mess without you. Scott stirred then. Eyes red-rimmed. Heard that. Kid. Wyatt's laugh coughed. Meant to. Discharge brought him home. Couch thrown. Pain meds rattling. Scott played nurse fierce. Broth simmering. Pillows fluffed. His coach bark softened to murmurs. I spell them. Reading scripts aloud. Mine. His old army letters unearthed from attic boxes. Nights stretching long. 3 of us tangled in stories. Rebuilding. But undercurrents swirled. Alone moments. Scott's touches turned urgent. Fingers tracing my wrist in the kitchen, pulling me into laundry nooks for stolen kisses. Heat building despite the house's thin walls. Need you, he'd rasp, hand palming me through jeans. But we'd break apart at creaks. Frustration coiling. Wyatt clocked it. One humid evening over takeout lo mein. You two are like horny teenagers. Gross. Blush heated. But Scott chuckled gruff. Pot. Kettle. From your room last month. Wyatt flushed. Tossing napkin. Fair. But. Seeing it? Therapy homework. Boundaries. We nodded. Solemn session next day. Circle of trust in a midtown office. Shrink neutral in khakis. Betrayal's a scar, she said. Notepad poised. But forgiveness? Muscle. Flex it. Wyatt went first. Hate the lies. Mom's affair. Dad's. Denial. Then you. Alex. Felt like echo. Scott swallowed hard. Kept it buried to shield you. Failed. My turn. Pushed too fast. Selfish. Words unearthed pus, tears. Shouts but catharsis followed. Hugs at session's end. Tentative. Progress. Film premiered late July. Rooftop theater in Dumbo, string lights twinkling. Skyline backdrop. Indie crowd buzzing. Wyatt wheeled in, still on crutches, but beaming Scott's arm steadying. My short unspooled. Tale of fractured boys mending under bridge lights. Echoes of us. Applause thundered. Q&A blur. But their faces, pride mirrored, grounded me. After party at a loft. Craft cocktails. Schmoozes with producers. Wyatt cornered one. My brother's the real deal, claimed. Scott pulled me to balcony later. City hum below. Proud as hell. His kiss deep. Unhurried. First public. Shadows hiding but heart bold. Love you. Alex Harlan. Harlan. Echo. He grinned sheepish. Someday. Legally. Heat bloomed. Future tangible. August cooled tensions further. Wyatt job hunted, barista gig at a queer cafe in Park Slope. Ironic nod while Scott coached summer league. Me tagging as assistant. Kids ribbing our bromance. Home rituals solidified. Game nights with Mario Kart. Wyatt trouncing us. Sunday brunches. Scott's pancakes golden. But conflict simmered low. Scott's ex circled. Emails probing. Wyatt okay? Miss you both. Wyatt deleted them unread. But one landed explosive. Photo attachment. Her with a toddler, your brother. Scott. Thought you should know. Detonation kitchen. Breakfast forgotten. Wyatt's fork clattered. Brother? She cheated with who? Scott's face drained. Doesn't matter. Not yours. But his. Wyatt's voice rose. Betrayal fresh. You knew. Guessed. After she left. Scott's admission hung. Wyatt shoved chair back. Everything's a lie. You. Her. Me in the middle. Stormed to room. Door locked. I followed Scott to yard. His pacing frantic. Should have told him. Protecting. Habit. Breaking. Night fell heavy. Wyatt's music blasting Nirvana dirges. We knocked soft. Tandem plea. Talk to us. Crack in door. Why? More secrets. No. Scott's voice steady. All cards down. Ask anything. Hours bled. Wyatt's barrage. Affair details. Half-sibling truth. Our start. Tears flowed free. Scott's hand in mine visible. Anchor. Loved her once. Love you always. Love Alex now. Wyatt absorbed. exhaustion winning. Tired of fighting. But, brother, meet him, Scott nodded. If you want. Dawn brought truce hug group. Wyatt's crutches clacking retreat. Therapy again. All in. September gilded edges. Wyatt's gig thriving. Flirtations with a bar regular, cute violinist. Out and proud. My script optioned for features. Agent buzzing. Scott's birthday low-key. Ribs on grill. Wyatt's gift a framed photo, 3 of us. Bridge walk years back. Family, he toasted. Ice clear. But climax loomed October. Leaves turning fire. Ex's push escalated. Court date for full disclosure. Half-sib custody angle. Scott lawyered up, but stress etched lines. Sleepless. Short-tempered. Wyatt confronted. End it clean, Dad. For us. I am, but doubt shadowed. Trial day. Courthouse marble cold. We waited hall, Wyatt fidgeting. Me holding Scott's hand hidden. Verdict swift. House secured. Visitation for the kid mediated. Distant. Relief flooded. But Wyatt's face post. Saw her. With him, the brother. Looks like you, Dad. Scott deflated. Go meet him. Closed the circle. Wyatt did coffee meet. Awkward but kind. Weird. But cool. He reported. Photo shared. Boyish grin. Harlan eyes. Humanity in the fracture. November chilled. Anniversary our first kiss. Scott planned escape. Cabin upstate. Adirondacks whisper quiet. Wyatt waved us off. Get a room, literally. Leaves crunched under tires. Lake mirror still. Cabin rustic. Stone hearth. Flannel sheets. We arrived dusk. Unpacking wine. Wood. Dinner by fire, stew simmering. Stories swapped. Later. Bed beckoned, him over me. Firelight gilding. Lovemaking unhurried. Exploring scars. Tattoos. Souls. Forever? He murmured. Deep inside. Always. Climax crested waves. Tangled sleep. Morning hike. Trails gold. Hand in hand open. Wyatt's good? He asked. Texted. Violinist's concert tonight. Wish luck. Grinning emoji. Scott laughed. Our boys blooming. Return brought normal. Until betrayal's echo. Wyatt's call. Panicked. Concert. Kissed him. Public. Felt right. But scared. Proud, Scott said. Speaker on. Bring him dinner sometime. Wyatt's exhale grateful. Yeah. Love you guys. Click. Scott's eyes met mine. Wet. We did it. But drama peaked Thanksgiving. Ex's invite. Family dinner. For the boys. Wyatt tempted. Scott wary. Go if you want, I urged. Closure. He did neutral diner. Kid in tow. Report. Stiff. But Wyatt bonded with half-bro. Kids into comics. Like me at his age. Healing rippled. December twinkled tentative joy. Wyatt's boyfriend. Liam violin curls. Shy smile. Joined tree trim. Ornaments hung. Light strung. Laughter real. Scott's arm around me casual now. Wyatt's nod approving. New Year's Eve. Rooftop redux. 4 of us. Champagne pop. Wyatt toasts. To messes mended. Scott's next. To love. All kinds. Mine. To us. Fireworks burst. City alive our spark brightest. Yet, under joy, conflict whispered. Scott's job offer. Philly firm. Better pay. Coaching gig. For stability, he said. Post-holiday. Wyatt's face fell. Move? Us? Think on it. But seed planted doubt. January tested. Sessions delved relocation, Wyatt resistant. Brooklyn's home. I mediated. Heart torn. Career mine here. But Scott's eyes pleaded. Climax crashed Valentine's. Argument explosive. Kitchen battlefield. Can't uproot him again, Wyatt yelled. It's life, Scott countered. For all of us, better school for the kid. Visits easy. Me caught. Scott. Wait. Choose. Alex. Wyatt's ultimatum redux. Him or stay. Silence deafened. Scott's face crumpled. Go. Be his family. Heart shattered. I followed Wyatt out. Duffel packed hasty. Truck idling. Don't, Scott begged door. Tears blinding. I drove Wyatt silent passenger. Sorry, he whispered finally. But can't lose you. Apartment crash pad. My queen's shoebox. Air mattress shared. Nights blurred guilt-soaked. Wyatt's apologies. My sobs for Scott. Calls ignored. Texts unread. Breakthrough March. Liam's nudge. Talk to him. Wyatt caved. Philly Drive. Me shotgun. Tension thick. Cabin empty. Note. Went to Reno. Need air. Love you both. Dog tags on dresser. Panic surged. Reno, my dad's haunt. Wyatt dialed frantic. Voicemail. We searched bar crawls. Casino pits, no. Week 2. Call. Scott's voice hollow. Found myself. Coming home. All in. Return airport pickup, him gaunt. But eyes alight. Tattoo fresh. Family scripted rib. Hug triple. Tears salt. Never again, he vowed. Spring bloomed forgiveness full. April showered renewal. Cherry petals confetti on our fractured but mending path. Scott's job stayed Brooklyn. Counteroffer sweet. Coaching intact. Wyatt's relationship deepened. Liam's concert tours meant weekends apart, but letters exchanged. Old school romance. He's a keeper. Wyatt confided over beers. Our bridge ritual revived, 3 abreast. East River churning stories below. My feature greenlit, studio polish. But mine at core. Premiere loomed fall. Invites tripled. Life's arc bent toward hope. Humanistic in its grit. No fairy dust. Just sweat and sorries forging stronger bonds. But romance's fire demanded tending. Scott and I carved date nights, jazz dives in the village. Hands laced under tables. Drives to the Cape. Windows down. Springsteen blasting. Lovemaking evolved. Less frantic. More profound. Mornings lazy. His mouth mapping me slow. Evenings urgent. Against walls with whispers of mine. You're my rewrite, he'd say. Post-climax glow. Fingers in my hair. Wyatt teased gentle. Get a room. Oh wait. But his eyes held blessing. Hard one. May's warmth brought the half-sib meat proper. Park picnic. Kid, Elliot. 7. Tossing frisbee with Wyatt. Scott watching soft. Looks like you, I murmured. Yeah. Pride-tinged ache. Ex hovered distant. Truce fragile, but for the boy, it held. Summer scorched. But we cooled in Coney waves. For now, Liam bronzed and beaming. Boardwalk laughs echoing boyhood. Wyatt's proposal, impromptu. Cotton candy sticky. Move in? With us. Liam's yes tearful. Ours cheers. Fall premiered my film. Gala sheen. Red carpet nerves. Scott in suit sharp. Wyatt and Liam dapper, family front row. Lights dim. Story unspooled. Betrayals bite. Love's redemption. Credits rolled. Standing ovation, mine. Theirs. After-party swirl. Toasts. Deals whispered. Scott cornered me quiet. Your heart's on screen. Ours. Kiss chased. Public. Progress. November's chill whispered change. Scott's knee twinged old injury. Doc's verdict. Retire coaching. Pivot consulting. Scared. He admitted. Fire crackling. Hold on. I knelt. Dog tags dangling. Marry me. Anchor. His yes choked. Ring slipped later, simple band. Engraved someday now. Wyatt's wedding planning ensued. Spring ceremony. Park Slope Synagogue. Queer inclusive. Heartfelt. You walking me? He asked Scott. Eyes missed. Honor. Hug tight. December dusted joy. Holidays layered, Harlan tree. X's awkward overlap for Elliot's sake. But grace prevailed. New Year's. Rooftop full. Champagne. Fireworks. Toasts to us expanded. Enduring. Yet, humanism's core. Not perfection, but persistence. Wyatt's bar promotion brought long hours. Strains with Liam tested. My sequel pressure mounted. Deadlines gnawing. Scott's pivot faltered. Clients ghosting. Doubt creeping. Conflict crested January. Scott's spiral. Booze creeping back. Late nights brooding. What if I'm not enough? Post-argument. Glass in hand. You're everything. But words warred with worry. Wyatt intervened. Family session redux. We're Harlan's messy, but mighty. Laughter broke ice. Plans forged. Sobriety check-ins. Date jars for us. February thawed him. Valentine's cabin redux. Sober. Vows renewed by lake. Rings glinting. Love-making fierce. Reclaiming. Him taking me slow on bearskin. Eyes locked. Forever mine. Yours. Spring wedding bloomed. Cherry arches. Vows poetic, Wyatt's through betrayals and bridges. Liam's in every note. We danced reception wild. Scott's hand low on my back. Promise. Summer tested anew. Elliot's custody bid. X's instability surfacing. Courts leaning Scott's way. Wyatt mediated. He's ours now. Adoption papers signed. Family swelled. Fall's sequel wrapped. Hit buzz. Our story veiled in fiction. Premiere sequel. Fuller House. Elliot wide-eyed. November's grace. Scott's knee surgery. Me bedside, vows whispered amid beeps. December's hush. Holidays heartfelt. Tree lights halo. New Year's Eve. Rooftop eternal. Now 6. Elliot's giggle new. Toasts layered. Past pains. Future fires. But climaxes echo. Wyatt's call. May. Liam's tour extended. Struggling. We rallied. Talks deep. Therapy trio. Love's work, Scott said. Wise. Resolution humanistic. No tidy bow, but tapestry woven, betrayal's threads strengthening weft. Scott and I wed quiet June courthouse, then brownstone bash. Wyatt best man. To shocks that silenced. Then sang. Elliot ringbearer. Tiny suit. Years blurred. Wyatt's kids. Adopted twins. Chaos joyful, my Oscar nod. Improbable. Scott's memoir. Gridiron grace. Quiet bestseller. Old age crept gentle. Scott's hair silver. My lines laugh-etched. Rocking chairs on porch. Hands laced. Wyatt's visits grandkids in tow. Regret? He asked once. sunset gilding. Never, kiss soft. Shocked silent, then fully voiced. Humanity's arc, love's drama, emotional tempests, romantic fires, betrayals bridged, conflicts conquered, ending not tragic nor flawless, but profoundly whole. In Brooklyn's heart, we endured family, forged in storm's wake.